Did you know that those who once whispered behind your back, doubted your every move, and envied your every step are now silent? Their laughter has faded, their gossip has stalled, and their doubts no longer carry weight. Not because they found wisdom or learned the value of maturity, but because your very success has made them pause. They believed they could control the narrative around you, that their words could shape your reality, that their judgments could dim your light. Yet here you stand on a stage. They will never step onto a stage crafted not by chance, but by your endurance, your unwavering focus, and your refusal to bend to their petty schemes. Picture it: once they talked freely, cackling in corners, spinning stories like threads in a web designed to trap you. Every whispered opinion was a weapon aimed at destabilizing your spirit, every joke at your expense a calculated test of your resilience. But now, when your name crosses their lips, there's hesitation. A pause, a fleeting glance over the shoulder, as if some unseen force reminds them of a reality they cannot change. The silence is deafening, and it is more revealing than any words they ever spoke. It isn't peace that silences them, it's the undeniable proof of your rise, the visible evidence that their attempts to control or diminish you have backfired spectacularly. Have you ever stopped to wonder why the rumors, the backroom plotting, the endless critiques suddenly hold no power? Why the same people who once tried to cage your spirit now retreat into careful silence? This isn't coincidence. This is the natural consequence of living your truth with consistency and integrity. You didn't have to respond to every insult, chase down every story, or prove your worth to anyone. You simply endured. You simply persisted, and the results of your persistence spoke louder than any argument could. Every success you quietly achieved, every step forward you took became a shield, a silent barrier against the noise and envy that once threatened to hold you down. Sustainable success doesn't require confrontation. Real influence doesn't demand attention. True power doesn't plead for recognition. It grows quietly, steadily, and becomes undeniable. By simply being consistent, by holding your line without compromise, by nurturing your values and letting results accumulate, you've crafted a presence that commands attention without speaking a word. And that is the secret the skeptics and the naysayers cannot touch. Your calm, unwavering rise exposes the limits of their schemes and reminds them that no amount of plotting can rewrite a story that is written in endurance, patience, and integrity. Today you are being offered a glimpse into a strategy that has always worked, whether you recognized it or not. You don't need to fight every battle, you don't need to silence every critic, and you don't need to prove yourself to anyone who thrives on deception or envy. Your silence, your consistency, and your unwavering adherence to your values are enough to turn gossip into evidence, doubt into admiration, and fear into hesitation. In this moment, you hold a key, an understanding that the people who once tried to undermine you are now powerless, not because they are wise or just, but because the life you have built, the results you have delivered, and the authority you have claimed are forces beyond their control. So lean in, because what follows will reveal not just why they remain silent, but how you can continue to rise, how you can harness the quiet power you already possess, and how you can maintain an influence so profound that even the loudest critics are left speechless. This isn't theory. This isn't just inspiration. This is a living strategy for every chosen one who has endured, who has persisted, and who refuses to allow the noise of others to dictate their reality. Have you noticed how the very whispers, the gossip, and the subtle envy that once felt like weapons against you now rebound on those who wielded them? Every rumor they spread, every shade they threw, every attempt to undermine your credibility has transformed into evidence of their own pettiness. What was meant to diminish you now highlights their insecurity, revealing their jealousy, their small-mindedness, and the fragility of their character. This is the irony of influence. The more they tried to control your image, the more their actions exposed who they truly are. This is what I call the mirror effect. Your presence, your growth, and your unwavering commitment to your values act as a reflection, forcing others to confront the gaps between who they claim to be and who they actually are. Every achievement you earn, every challenge you overcome, every obstacle you navigate gracefully becomes a spotlight on their failures. They see the contrast without you ever pointing a finger. They see your resilience, your discipline, your integrity, and in that reflection, their own flaws are unmistakably illuminated. Imagine this: they once labeled you as weak, unreliable, or unworthy. They whispered that you would crumble, that your efforts were meaningless, that you were destined to fail. But as you moved forward consistently, deliberately, without the need for drama or validation, those same voices now sound hollow. The story they tried to craft, the narrative in which you were small and they were strong, has collapsed under the weight of reality. Your results, your energy, your trajectory reveal the truth more clearly than any confrontation could. What they intended as camouflage for your vulnerability now exposes their insecurity. Their envy, their bitterness, and their attempts to belittle you have become markers of their own weakness. This mirror effect works quietly but powerfully. You don't have to respond, retaliate, or explain yourself. Simply by existing fully, by moving through life with authenticity and purpose, you become the lens through which their illusions are shattered. The same people who once thought they held power over you are now forced to measure themselves against the standard you set. Their plans, gossip, and silent judgments lose potency because the reality of your progress cannot be altered by words alone. It's as if your journey and presence alone have become a truth-telling mechanism, revealing their insecurities without a single act of confrontation on your part. And here's what makes it even more striking: your mirror doesn't just show them their shortcomings, it forces accountability in the most subtle and unavoidable way. They realize, often unconsciously, that any attempt to undermine you now only reinforces the reality of their own envy. Their words, which once sought to manipulate perception, now serve as a measure of their own smallness against your unshakable growth. Their disbelief, hesitation, and silence are confirmations of what they can no longer deny: you are rising, thriving, and untouchable, not because you fought them directly, but because your integrity and consistency speak louder than their schemes ever could. This is the quiet, irresistible power that comes from being unshakably aligned with your values. You don't need to outshout, outmaneuver, or overpower anyone. Your very journey, the decisions you've made, the endurance you've demonstrated, the victories you've quietly achieved, functions as a mirror that reveals truths others would rather ignore. They may still talk, still try to inject doubt, still whisper behind closed doors, but the mirror you hold reflects their shortcomings back to them. Your energy and progress have turned their attacks into a showcase of their own limitations. So recognize this for what it is: your existence alone has become an instrument of revelation. You are both witness and reflection. Without lifting a finger to challenge, without raising your voice, without engaging in drama, you expose the duplicity, the envy, and the fragility of those who once sought to diminish you. Your journey doesn't just tell your story, it quietly unmasks those who were never prepared to face it. And in that revelation, you don't just survive, you rise untouched, untouchable, and fully seen for who you are. Here's the truth: you don't need to fight every battle, confront every critic, or justify yourself to anyone who doubts you. The real shield, the real protection comes from the strength you build within, the integrity you uphold, and the consistency with which you move forward. Your resilience, your ability to endure, and the tangible results you produce are far more powerful than any argument, confrontation, or rebuttal. They act as an invisible armor that deflects envy, gossip, and ill-intentioned commentary without a single word spoken. The first principle is simple yet often overlooked: do not chase validation. You don't need applause to prove your worth, approval to confirm your path, or acknowledgement to validate your efforts. Your value isn't defined by someone else's perception. Living according to your own principles, your own vision, and your own highest standards creates a gravity that draws recognition naturally without force. When you operate from this place, those who once sought to manipulate, discredit, or control you suddenly realize that their power over you was always an illusion. Your integrity becomes a fortress. Next, recognize the transformative potential of pain and challenge. Every failure, every betrayal, every whisper of envy directed at you can become a springboard. The obstacles others intended to use to weaken you instead forge you into someone stronger, sharper, and more self-aware. Imagine a moment where someone tried to discredit you publicly to diminish your accomplishments. Yet in response, you remained steady, composed, and focused. While their intention was to shake you, your endurance highlighted their insecurity and amplified your credibility. Each test, each pressure becomes material for building your inner power. Pain, when reframed, becomes a tool rather than a punishment. Silence is another weapon, one of the most underestimated. Responding to every attack, defending yourself at every accusation, or attempting to correct every misperception often gives power to those who seek to undermine you. But when you allow time, results, and the consistent demonstration of your values to speak on your behalf, the effect is profound. Silence doesn't mean passivity. It signals control, confidence, and superiority. Those who once tried to provoke or destabilize you quickly realize that every word against you is now ineffective, sometimes even counterproductive. You don't have to chase outcomes. Your presence, endurance, and achievements do the talking. Storytelling helps crystallize this principle. Consider someone in your life, or perhaps in your community, who tried to diminish your progress, to spread rumors, or to create doubt about your abilities. They may have laughed, whispered, and strategized to control perception. Yet you, standing firm, continued to work, to grow, to excel. Over time, the results were undeniable. Your reputation became a monument to consistency. Your achievements a spotlight that exposed their insecurity, and their attempts at manipulation crumbled without direct confrontation. Your calm, measured response, combined with relentless effort, did more to protect your position than any reactive argument could have. The cumulative effect of these principles is both empowering and reassuring. You gain confidence because you understand that your inner alignment, not the opinions of others, defines your trajectory. You gain a sense of authority because your results and endurance speak louder than words, giving you influence that cannot be undermined. And you experience peace of mind knowing that the external noise, the gossip, envy, and petty opposition is irrelevant in the face of your unwavering inner strength. Ultimately, protecting and developing your inner power isn't about fighting battles the way others expect. It's about cultivating resilience, integrity, and consistency until those qualities become your shield. The whispers that once sought to destabilize you now serve as proof of your endurance. The challenges that were meant to break you now propel you forward. And the silence you maintain is louder than any argument you could make. By embracing these principles, you don't just survive, you thrive, untouchable and empowered from within. There's a subtle, almost invisible force that you carry, one that shapes the world around you without a single word spoken. It is your presence, your energy, your unwavering determination that exerts influence far beyond what most people realize. When you move through a room, through a conversation, or even through life itself with consistency and authenticity, you are revealing truths not about yourself, but about everyone who crosses your path. People feel it, the contrast between who they are and who they could be. Your existence becomes a mirror reflecting their own compromises, their fears, and their unacknowledged potential. And it's in that reflection that your influence takes root. Consider the quiet power of someone who doesn't need to announce their victories or broadcast their achievements. You have been there, perhaps in a boardroom, a social setting, or even within a family dynamic where others tried to intimidate, manipulate, or overshadow you. You didn't raise your voice, you didn't launch a rebuttal, and yet the effect was profound. People watched, measured, and unconsciously recalculated their understanding of you. Your calm in chaos, your poise in pressure. Your ability to hold your ground quietly unsettled them. They may have laughed, whispered, or attempted subtle sabotage, but your integrity and consistent actions revealed the truth far more convincingly than any confrontation ever could. This is the principle of influence without confrontation. Presence, consistency, and authenticity outweigh strategy and rhetoric. Someone who thrives on gossip, fear, or manipulation will find themselves powerless against the steady momentum of a person who embodies these qualities. Your actions, your composure, your visible results create a ripple effect that others cannot ignore. It forces reflection. It forces accountability. Without ever pointing fingers, you demonstrate what is possible when someone refuses to bend to pressure, refuse compromise for convenience, or chase validation at the cost of principle. Let me illustrate with a story that might resonate. Imagine a colleague who once doubted you at every turn, subtly undermined your efforts, or dismissed your capabilities. They expected to see cracks, to witness panic or indecision, to confirm their own assumptions about your limits. Yet time and again you handled every challenge with measured confidence, delivering results while maintaining composure. Over time, their whispers lost credibility. Their criticisms fell flat and their envy became transparent. You didn't need to speak, confront, or retaliate. The combination of your presence and your consistent excellence revealed the truth of who you are, leaving them to reconcile their perception with reality. This principle extends beyond personal victories. It is a tool to impact your community, your networks, and your environment. When you operate from your highest self, you invite others to rise, to align with integrity, and to reconsider their own choices. The very act of living authentically, refusing shortcuts, and maintaining resilience in the face of adversity inspires those around you to do the same. Influence is contagious, not through force, not through manipulation, but through example, by showing what it means to be fully aligned with your values. As a chosen one, your ability to affect change quietly is profound. You demonstrate that power is not about noise, recognition, or control. It is about steadfastness, clarity, and the authority of your actions. Every decision you make, every boundary you uphold, every standard you refuse to compromise sets a template for others to follow. People may not always acknowledge it openly, but your influence resonates deeply. Your life becomes a reference point, a standard by which others measure their own integrity, courage, and authenticity. Finally, recognize that your energy is a force multiplier. The strength, resilience, and wisdom you cultivate internally amplify your impact externally. Every moment of patience, every act of consistent excellence, every choice to stand firm instead of reacting impulsively contributes to an invisible legacy that shapes perception and inspires transformation. Your growth and authenticity provoke reflection, challenge stagnation, and encourage progress, not because you demand it, but because the truth of your presence cannot be ignored. So lean into your own power. Acknowledge the authority within you, the force of your presence, and the impact of your consistent choices. Let your example guide others. Influence without confrontation. Lead without noise. Transform your environment simply by being fully aligned, fully present, and fully committed to your values. In doing so, you will see that the world responds not to your loudest argument, but to your most authentic self. As we reach the conclusion of this journey together, take a moment to absorb the truth: you exist. You have endured. You have grown, evolved, and become unshakable. Every trial, every slight, every whisper meant to undermine you has served a higher purpose. These experiences were not obstacles meant to break you. They were the instruments that shaped your power, honed your clarity, and strengthened your influence. Every challenge, every injury to your spirit, every moment of doubt or judgment aimed at you has been a stepping stone, a lesson, and a testament to your resilience. Pause and reflect on this. Your endurance, your patience, and the results you've quietly achieved are not merely acts of survival, they are victories. They are proof that you cannot be shaken by gossip, envy, or the schemes of those who sought to diminish you. Your story, your path, and your actions have become a guiding light not only for yourself but for all who observe your journey, whether openly or in silence. This is the power of living authentically, consistently, and aligned with your values. The first lesson to carry forward is simple but transformative. You do not need to chase validation from anyone else. The world will always offer opinions, critiques, and distractions. Some will celebrate your rise, others will attempt to downplay it. But none of this defines your worth. Your value is inherent, grounded in your choices, your integrity, and your unwavering commitment to your vision. Stop measuring yourself against fleeting perceptions. Measure yourself against the steadfastness with which you live your life, the courage with which you endure, and the clarity with which you pursue your purpose. The second lesson is equally profound. Live according to your vision, your principles, and your highest values. Every decision you make, every boundary you uphold, every standard you refuse to compromise strengthens your presence in ways that words cannot. You don't need to justify your choices to those who cannot comprehend your path. By embodying your truth consistently, you demonstrate a power far greater than confrontation, noise, or argument ever could. Your vision becomes a compass, your values a shield, and your integrity an unstoppable force. The third lesson: transform every experience into a lesson, every trial into proof of your strength. Challenges, betrayals, and criticism are not punishments, they are evidence. Each time someone doubted you, each time they tried to undermine you, the energy they invested in negativity only highlighted your resilience. Meanwhile, you collected wisdom, built momentum, and honed your inner power. Let every struggle remind you of your ability to rise, to convert adversity into fuel, and to turn hardship into authority. Your life is now a living testament. You endure, you rise, and you influence beyond what anyone could attempt to take from you. The emotional impact of embracing these lessons is powerful. You gain confidence knowing that your worth and authority are anchored in reality, not opinion. You feel inspired, recognizing that your journey demonstrates the transformative power of resilience and authenticity. You experience connection, understanding that you are part of a larger community of chosen ones, individuals who share in triumph, endurance, and alignment with purpose. And you feel empowered, fully aware that your presence, actions, and choices leave a lasting impact on the world around you. As we close, here is a gentle call to action. If this message resonates, take a moment to like this video, comment below with your story, and subscribe to Chosen and Rising. By doing so, you join a community of individuals committed to awakening their inner strength, embracing their destiny, and influencing the world through resilience, authenticity, and purpose. Share your experiences, your growth, and your victories, because your journey can inspire someone who is rising right now. Remember, you are a chosen one. Stand tall, shine brightly, let your influence ripple outward. Every trial you've overcome, every moment of endurance, and every act of authenticity is proof that you cannot be limited by whispers, envy, or doubt. The world may have underestimated you before, but now it watches as your alignment, persistence, and growth speak for themselves. Take this with you. Your life is a testament to the unstoppable force of someone fully aligned with truth and purpose. Challenges are no longer chains, they are evidence. Your survival is no longer merely endurance, it is authority. Your presence is no longer unnoticed, it is influence. Every act, every decision, every victory contributes to a legacy that inspires, transforms, and uplifts. So step forward with confidence. Stand as a living declaration of strength, endurance, and authenticity. Inspire without force. Lead without arrogance. And always remember, you are untouchable, unshakable, and fully aligned with your purpose. The stage is yours, and your story is a living manifesto for every chosen one who dares to rise. If this message has reached you, like, comment, and subscribe to Chosen and Rising. Share your journey, inspire others, and together let's amplify the power, resilience, and unstoppable truth that lives within each of us. You are the proof. You are the light. You are the chosen one.